Wrestling Roundup unfortunately learned of the passing of Scott Hall, also known as Razor Ramon, one of the best professional wrestlers of all time. Will be lovingly remembered for everything that he's done for the wrestling business, and a massive loss to the wrestling community. We wanted to do our special little part here for Scott by opening the show this week with a 10-bell salute. And if you're going to remember anything, I'd like to throw in this quote from Scott that hits home a little bit here, but hard work pays off, dreams come true, bad times don't last, but bad guys do. We're going to miss you, Scott. Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MP. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey!
We got quite a bit to get through with Raw, SmackDown, and NXT this week. There has been quite a bit, but let's just continue, I guess, the sort of sad trend so far of the show and open up with the New Day versus, I don't know, the British beat-em-up boys feud that has unfortunately landed Big E out for a little while.
Yeah, accidents happen, and you really can't really blame Ridge Holland because it is just an accident. It's not like he intentionally did it. It sucks, but it does give us a chance to reboot Big E when he comes back. A bit. I would hold him off until the first Raw or SmackDown of next year. For two reasons. One, to make sure that he's healthy. And two, to give people a chance to forget about him a bit. So when he comes back, it'll be a big thing. And then have him come out and announce that he's going to be in the Rumble. I'm thinking Triple H 2002 at Madison Square Garden type thing.
Yeah.
And have him win the Rumble and go on to WrestleMania.
That's some long booking. That is some future stuff right there. I think it's just super unfortunate timing. Obviously, with everything ramping up to WrestleMania, you can see where they were meant to be going. Like, Sheamus and Ridge Holland introduced Pete Dunne as Butch, and that was making them now a trio of people from the British Isles, and then it seemed as though they were ready to go up against the New Day. Xavier Woods is returning to live events this week. And that was probably going to be a big six-man tag team match for WrestleMania, and now, unfortunately, Big E, with this freak accident, loses the good chunk of a year out of his career sitting on the shelf, getting rehabbed from that, and misses out on that WrestleMania match that we could have had.
True. But thank goodness he didn't require surgery, because that could have been even worse. Yeah, it is a sad thing to see them have. They're going to have to pivot. Probably what I would say they probably will end up doing is just taking Ridge Holland out of the match and just doing Kingston and Woods versus Butch and Sheamus. And probably just have Holland at ringside.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways they could go about it. As you say, turn it into a 2-on-2 tag team match, or the New Day could try and find themselves a third member to go up against the three strong boys. But I think what's important is that, whether love it or hate it, the new name, that Butch is focused on. This is his coming out. This is his big debut leading into a WrestleMania match. So he's where that focus has got to be on, and whatever it takes to get that star-making matchup at WrestleMania, which, with the New Day and Sheamus involved, this 6-man tag team match would have been. I'm down to whatever combination gets us something that lets us see the best in Butch.
Yeah, think that's where we have to go now. Is that we have to go with he's on the main roster now, finally. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, and talking about tag teams, just to stay in this division a little bit, we did wonder, where was all of these tag team championships going to lead to for their WrestleMania matches, who was going to be facing who, and it looks as though the Usos at least have their SmackDown tag team championships contenders lined on up, with Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs taking a shot at them.
Oh, I thought they were still going on their trip. I didn't realize they'd come back and challenge the champs.
Yeah, Rick Boogs successfully defeated Jey Uso this week on SmackDown to earn that match at WrestleMania.
It is what it is. I like Boogs a lot. I think he's got a lot of personality. I don't know what kind of future he really has, because I could see him being like an Adam Rose. A lot of personality, but there's a ceiling of where you can get to. And I worry about that. I've made my feelings about Shinsuke pretty clear over the years. I like him as a talent, but he has a ceiling on him simply because of the language barrier.
Yeah, it'll be a tough one to see. Like, in terms of that ceiling, I don't think the SmackDown tag team titles are outside of that. I could definitely see them both picking up the titles here if it is time for the Usos to end up losing them. Don't quite know, obviously, what the site or what the landscape of SmackDown is going to look like post-WrestleMania. But, Boogs and Nakamura are, just as much of a threat to the Usos titles. And with everything that Nakamura has already done, he has sort of made himself that credible threat when it comes to a match like this. And as you say, Boogs, no reason why not to give him a shot. Let him have a try.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It makes sense because they've been together for over a year. So it makes sense to make them a tag team. It also allows Shinsuke to not have to do as much in the ring, by being a tag team, because I do think he's coming back from an injury. So if this is the team that they have him beat the Usos, I'm fine with it. I won't be happy, but I'm fine with it. But then again, there's nobody on the roster that really makes sense on beating the Usos at this point.
Yeah, I'll take it. With you, fine with it is probably the best I can get. So I'll take that and I will run with it. One last topic before we get into our entrance theme this week. It appears as though Austin Theory is getting himself into a little bit of double hot water on SmackDown. He's brawling with Pat McAfee, setting up that match with the whole Vince McMahon storyline behind it. But then over on Raw, he's poking his nose into the United States Championship picture with Priest and Balor.
It's possible, but at the same time, I don't see them going for that, simply because, while we like us some Austin Theory here, I would be concerned about him getting injured in one of the matches, which would hurt the other.
Mm.
I also think it's just better off if he focuses on Pat for the story. I also think it would be completely stupid to have him to do 2 matches when you have Seth Rollins without a match.
That's true. Seth Rollins, though, does seem to be inserting himself into WrestleMania in some form or another. Like, the whole... We talk about this storyline taking you from the start of a show all the way to the end of a show, that connective thread. And that was Seth Rollins this week, and he sort of desperately trying to find his WrestleMania matchup and thought he could take Kevin Owens, maybe if he interviewed Stone Cold instead. But yeah, as you say, ultimately left without a match just yet at the moment.
Yeah. It is, it's very interesting the way they're doing this. Because, yeah, you play up the fact that everybody knows Seth Rollins doesn't have a match. It's not like something you can hide. Seth Rollins has been a top guy for the company for so long, and you don't have him doing anything. And at the same time, there are tons and tons of hints that they've been dropping at a possible opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not that happens, we don't know. I'd do the John Cena Undertaker thing. Maybe not a 3-minute match, but I mean, have it run up to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And you have Seth sitting in the crowd or something because he's not on the card. Or you just have him walk down to the ring and issue an open challenge. Dang it, I'm having a match. I don't care who against who. And then you have the American Nightmare come out. Yeah. And you have Cody debut on the grandest stage of all. I think that would get quite a pop. Especially if they could keep it quiet.
Yeah, it's a tough one because, as you say, there's lots of whispers and lots of rumors already and lots of hints being dropped. Really, the big question comes down to, do you believe it all? Do you believe that that the signing is a done deal? Do you believe that their negotiations are breaking down? There's so much conflicting information coming out and around it all that it does sort of bring that little bit of hype or that little bit of intrigue to it, because you don't know which way it's going. You don't know, are they lying to the dirt sheets on this side? Is it this way? Are they leaving Seth Rollins open just in case?
Yeah, I would like to remind people, this is the same thing that happened 5 years ago with the Hardys. The same thing. All this chatter, they were coming to WWE, and then there was rumors of them not coming to WWE. Then there was a picture of them supposedly leaving New Orleans the night before, and they come out at WrestleMania. So yeah, it's not outside the realm of possibility. But I think the biggest thing is if they go that route, they have to do everything they can to keep a lid on it.
Yeah.
Because if contract thing details get leaked and stuff, it ruins the whole thing. Because then you know it. And that's part of the biggest issues that I've had with the internet. Is that surprises don't happen that much anymore because they don't allow it.
Yeah, you got to have your finger on the pulse the entire time. You got to know everything on the inside, on the outside. You got to know where everybody's lying, all the free agents, all the contract signings, all the negotiations, all the details, all the everything. It's definitely something that has become just so much more prevalent in this, as you say, internet sort of era. But that is about halfway through the show, so we are going to go into our entrance theme this week. It should be no surprise given how we started off the show that we will be playing for you Razor Ramon's full theme for you right about now. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh, and still looking ahead at WrestleMania because that's everything that we do now is building towards that. Omos seems to also be looking for a challenger or looking for somebody to go head to head with at WrestleMania.
Definitely not Commander Aziz.
No, he did not last long.
No, I'm fine. I mean, it's what they need to do with Omos. They don't need to really rush him. They just need to slowly build him. I would be fine with him just demolishing Apollo Crews. That would be fine. I actually think they should actually put him in the Battle Royal. And have him actually win the dang thing.
Yeah, that seems like the most obvious for Omos, right? If he's trying to find his WrestleMania moment and trying to get that big spot, then winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal would be probably the best thing he's got. If I look around the landscape of opponents that he could have, I just can't think of anybody who's going to stand opposite him and really be that guy that he needs to go up against and face to get that moment. It's either going to be a sort of mid-card lackluster match or biff him in the Battle Royal.
I mean, there are a lot of things that they can do from here on out. Omos is like in this weird position where it's like, we know that they want to push him, but they also know he's not fully ready for a full-on push. So he's in like this limbo state of having his rocket half lit.
Yeah, he's not sort of jumping into any championship pictures. He's not, even though he has already held the Raw Tag Team Championship, he hasn't jumped into any singles championship matches. He hasn't tried to do anything crazy spectacular. Like even the guys he's targeted and taking down now is, Commander Aziz and Apollo Crews, some solid mid-card guys, but I don't know, everybody big up the card is already kind of booked other than Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. There's not a lot of free real estate left for Omos.
Yes, that's why I just said stick him in the Battle Royal and have him win it. Because a roster that's not in the big matches right now, who can you honestly see actually eliminating Omos?
Yeah.
There are only a couple people that could do it. One being Otis. But that didn't exactly work so well for Otis at the Survivor Series Battle Royal. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a situation where we know what we know about the other matches, so it's like there's just nothing left for Omos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess just to give it some time before we get to the end of the show, we do have a good chunk of NXT stuff to talk about as well, since, Dolph Ziggler is the NXT champion. He successfully defeated LA Knight this week. And then booked himself a match against Bron Breakker, one-on-one at Stand and Deliver just before WrestleMania. Do we think Ziggler is going to hold on to this belt?
Honestly, I have no idea. Because just like there are rumors about Cody coming to WWE, there are just as many rumors about Braun coming to the main roster, which is why he would have dropped the title. So, I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know. I feel like that it's a situation where I think they do want to bring Braun up. So I don't think they will put the title back on him and have Dolph hold it for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a Grayson Waller, maybe Cameron Grimes. To the moon, baby.
Pitching that.
To the moon.
You can pitch Cameron Grimes as much as you want.
I probably will get it. I will get it, but it's still something I'd like to see.
Yeah. Because everything, much like everything on the main roster is heading towards WrestleMania, everything on the NXT roster is heading towards Stand and Deliver. The winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, the Creed Brothers, sort of tussling it up with MSK beforehand, with Imperium in there, obviously with the Tag Team Championships as well, leading to a lovely three-way tag team match. Again, at Stand and Deliver. Might we finally see the crowning of the Creed brothers?
We might. We very well might. But there's also that storyline of who attacked the Creed brothers. And a lot of people are pointing fingers at MSK. Makes sense because they got themselves inserted in a match they shouldn't be in. But there is a fourth tag team floating around that would make perfect sense to make the attackers, and they could either cost the Creed brothers for the match at Stand and Deliver, or immediately makes it known that they're their first opponents after we win. And of course, I'm talking about your boys, the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Yeah, they are definitely floating around, and hopefully, because I think Stand and Deliver is also only a couple weeks away, we do get some resolution of that storyline heading into that, because personally I really want to see the Creed brothers with championship gold, and so if what it takes is, banging in another team and making it a fatal 4-way tag team match, then let's go. Or as you say, if it is their first feud post picking up the championships, I'd be cool with that as well. I think the Creed brothers are money, and I think I want to throw all of my dollars behind them to see what they can do with those tag team championships.
They were definitely the right choice for the Dusty Cup and for the men. They were definitely the right choice. So yeah, it's one of those cases where it's like we have a team that we really like, and we want to see them win. But the question then becomes, will they win?
That's always the question, right? That's the whole reason this radio show exists.
Yeah. So let's see how it plays out. But I really think if I was booking it, I wouldn't have them not be revealed, the attackers be revealed until after they win the titles, and then have the attacking team attack the Creed brothers.
Yeah. I am definitely down with that. But before we wrap up today as well, also got to mention the Mysterios decided to show up on NXT 2.0 and sort of pick a fight with Legado del Fantasma that led to Dominic Mysterio actually picking up a win.
Yeah. It's been a while since he's won a match. That should be a fun little feud. You don't have anything for him on the main roster right now for the Mysterios, especially since they're not, for whatever reason, they're not doing the feud with father and son. So you might as well have them go to NXT and pick a fight with the Lucha wrestlers down there, former Lucha wrestlers faction. So it's cool. Let's have Dominic and Ray versus Escobar and rando member of Fantasma, and let them tear the house down on at Stand to Deliver.
Yeah, but we'll have to see. Obviously, as you say, whether it'll just be two of the three members of Fantasma, or whether the Mysterios find themselves another person and bring it across and make it a six-man tag team match. Because there was a bunch of people who seemed to be poking their nose into this entirely. Obviously, you got Elektra Lopez as well with Legado del Fantasma. You had, I think Briggs and Jensen showed up. You've got other members of Legado Fantasma. I think this is just an interesting feud where so many elements are coming together, and whether the Mysterios end up having that spot on Stand and Deliver, or whether this match becomes a much bigger thing. Having Ray down here is going to do great things. You know, all it can do is give these NXT talents a bit of a rub, and give Dominic Mysterio more ring time, where he's not just sitting down and taking the pin every time.
Yeah. I mean, this is Ray's 33rd year in professional wrestling.
It's a lot of years.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just amazing, the longevity of his career, especially with his style.
Mm-hmm.
If this is his final run, cool. It's better than I would have thought.
Yeah. But there's only one way to find out, and that is to sit around, wait, and see, because we are all out of time this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye, B.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingRradio. That is wrong. WrestlingRND up. I will remember that. I don't mess it up that often. And twitter.com/WrestlingRND up, or our YouTube page, youtube.com/WrestlingRND up. And we will catch you next week.